the Americas, and of course, Nigeria. I wish us all a very fruitful deliberation. I thank you all very much for coming. I thank you, our special guest of honor, who happens to be a distinguished alumnus of the University of Lagos. That is the governor of Akwa Ibom State. We're very delighted that you continue to be part and you are proud to be associated with the events taking place in your alma mater. We welcome you back home. We hope that you will not just come for the International Week and just be around Amtrik. We hope that you will get to see the sights and sounds of the University of Lagos. Even though representing the governor, I'm sure you'll have a lot to tell him. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, I say thank you very much. I say settle down, sit back, and you are greatly welcome. God bless you.
Thank you very much, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development Services, the host for this event. May I now call on the representative of the governor of Akwa Ibom State, the secretary to the government of the state, to give the chairman's welcome address, opening remarks.
Thank you. The Vice Chancellors that are gathered here, members of the faculty of University of Lagos, participants that are scattered or located all over the world that are participating in this event. Ladies and gentlemen, I am representing the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Goodwill Emmanuel, who is unavoidably absent. But he's out of the country, and he directed me to be here to represent him. The governor is always nostalgic about his stay in UNILAG. That is all we know working with him in his administration. I cannot be nostalgic about what is mediocre. Cannot. Nobody can be nostalgic about what he didn't relish, what he didn't enjoy, and what he didn't have a good time in. My friends, ladies and gentlemen, let me, on behalf of the governor, please let me just profile the governor briefly. So you now situate this event in the context of the governor that is your part of. Number one, he says often that when the passion is right, every other thing is possible. Number two, he looks at the future with a lot of interest and enthusiasm. Number three, our population explosion as a country has not matched our level of productivity, or our level of productivity as a nation is not matched by a population explosion. Number four, professors, please, the governor says often that unemployment, youth restiveness in our country, Nigeria, is not caused or is not as a result of insufficient availability of employment opportunities, but rather is caused by insufficient availability of human capacity, insufficient availability of skilled labor force. And he has done a great deal in Akwa Ibom State to turn the fortunes of young people. But he says often take them off the streets. You know what? Do something to take them off the streets. So when I look at this theme, universities of the future, and I put it the other way around, the future of universities. And then I also put it in another context. What would happen if the universities of today do not embrace the changes that are very well highlighted in this program? We call it in my information and communication technology disruptive technologies. And then some people say catastrophic development. Disruptive technologies, I can tell you, you have to take advantage of that. And I like the way right beyond the skies. and rise to the fate of your heritage. Let me use my governor to paraphrase that bit. So, and I always say that he who does not want to adapt, the fate of dinosaurs awaits the person. If you refuse to adapt, your fate is the fate of the dinosaurs. And for UNILAG to think in these terms, I'm really impressed, to tell you the truth. Deeply personally, I'm very impressed. And like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs would put it, in our profession, he says, if you want to dominate and control the future, create it. So it means you have to be very proactive. And what UNILAG is doing today is being proactive. I was here 2 years ago to represent the governor, and I did a presentation, and the kind of the quality of the discussion and the passion that I observed and I saw that was so palpable in UNILAG. And I'm sure that since you are already seeing the future, you are living the future, you are creating the future, means that UNILAG will be a master of the future. So if universities, with all the things that are happening today in the world, new technologies, artificial intelligence, robotics, big data, security, Internet of Things, IoT, where everything, including this camera that this gentleman is using to point at me, your television, your refrigerators, classroom, even benches, even the microphone, all will have IP addresses, and you can remotely control whatever happens, whatever you want to control in any part of the world. These days, we are talking about robo-cooking. I'm sure UNILAG has been in the know of that, to robo-cook. What does that mean? It means that in your kitchen, you have closets that have IP addresses, you have pepper, you have palm oil, you have onions in closets, you have the vegetables, you have a fork, all in closets, and they have IP addresses. And right from your office, wherever you are in Lagos, you, from the piece of software and app on your smartphone, you're able to pick. So the robot picks the pot, puts it on the cooker, and picks all the components, all the ingredients and the condiments, put in the time sequence, in the chronological order, until the soup is ready. By the time you arrive home, the afang soup is already on your table, and you're ready to eat. You see, when you think this way, you might think, wow, it's bizarre. Is that realizable? But the fact is 200 years ago, whoever thought that human beings would fly? Something as heavy, as massive as Airbus 380 being airborne, the story building being airborne, defying gravity, so to say. So for UNILAG as a university to think in terms of creating the future and getting ready to control the future and be part of the future by seeing the future now and taking advantage of what it has now to build the future, I can tell you it's a very healthy development in our country. Lastly, Madam Deputy Vice Chancellor, the governor expresses his desire to be part of the development in UNILAG as you think in a very futuristic way. You know, we have a university, Akwa State University, that is science and engineering focused. So it's called Akwa State University, and I think when the Vice Chancellor and his team were on the visit to Akwa Ibom State and they visited, the governor received them with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion. This area was very well highlighted. So this is why he sent me to be part of this event. And then I will get a report ready for him so that Akwa Ibom State University, AXU, and UNILAG have partnered with the great ACOCA with a view to making sure that the future that you already see here and we are about to create here with a view to mastering that future, that our young University of Akwa Ibom State University will partner with you and be the best of all the universities in our country and even beyond the shores of Nigeria. With those few words, I'm gratified to be here and will participate in these events until the close of work today. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, the representative of the governor of Akwa Ibom State. We have a lot of guests online, so let me just try to recognize them. We have our keynote speaker for today, the country director for World Bank, Dr. Shubham is actually going to be the next person to speak. Thank you very much for joining us. We have the Consul General of Swiss Embassy, Mr. Thomas Schneider. Thank you very much for joining us. We have the Consul General of the German Embassy. Thank you very much for joining us. Then we have the representative of the US Embassy, Mr. Clemson. Thank you very much for joining us. May I now invite the country director for World Bank to please give his keynote address.
Good morning, everyone. This is Shubham Chaudhary. I'm afraid I'm unable to start my video. So if the host would please allow me to start my video, then you can also see me in addition to hearing me. But while that's happening, let me get started. Can I just confirm that everyone can hear me? Yes? Could someone please confirm that everyone can hear me? Yes, okay, thank you. So good morning, everyone, distinguished guests. I'm delighted to be able to join you this morning on, especially since, I was an academic myself. I joined the World Bank after 10 years as an economic professor. So I always feel at home in an university community. It's a real honor and privilege to have been invited to share some thoughts with you on the future of universities, the kind of the major initiative that UNILAG has begun in terms of thinking through what the role of universities like UNILAG will be, especially in this rapidly changing global environment. How can UNILAG adapt and thrive 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now? If you would allow me, I would like to structure my remarks around 4 main points. First, I think, I do not need to convince anyone participating in this event about the critical role that universities and institutions of higher education play in the development of a nation. But it's worth reiterating that for a country like Nigeria, the role of universities and institutions of higher education is particularly critical because of the 3 million young Nigerians that come off working age every year. And the future of Nigeria lies in how many of them are able to realize their hopes and dreams and become productive citizens. And that's where universities come in. I hope you will not mind my being very frank about the fact that at the moment, Nigeria is not equipping its young people with the skills and the human capital they need to thrive, nor is it providing them with the sorts of life opportunities they deserve. I think the previous speakers have alluded to this. The problems of, the fact that so many of our youth are underemployed and are not able to realize their aspirations, and then the problems of insecurity and fragility that results in. So institutions like UNILAG clearly have a critical role in helping Nigeria's youth realize their dreams. Second, if we think through, what it will take for universities like UNILAG to fully play that role and live up to that responsibility, I think it's important to keep in mind that there are things that may not lie directly in the domain or mandate of UNILAG or of other universities, but there are important national issues on which UNILAG and other universities can really play a very strong role as advocates. What do I mean by this? Well, in order to ensure that every child, Nigerian child, has the opportunity to acquire the human capital he or she needs so that he or she is prepared to begin life as a young adult, perhaps as an UNILAG student, okay? Right now, most Nigerian children do not have that opportunity. Nigeria has the largest number of out-of-school children in the world. On the Human Capital Index that the World Bank started producing or measuring, if you like, about 3 years ago, which the essence of that index is very simple. It says, imagine a child that's born in a country, this was back in 2018, born in a country in 2018, if the situation in that country, the opportunities to acquire human capital remain the same as at the time of birth, how much human capital will that child have when he or she becomes a young adult? So that goes to, what is the sort of basic education they're getting? What is the learning that's happening? Are they in school? What kind of primary health care? Do they have early childhood nutrition and early childhood development? On that Human Capital Index, Nigeria ranks 6th from the bottom. And so if you think about the pool of young Nigerians from which UNILAG will be drawing, looking for its star students, that pool does not have the human capital that it should. And so this is a plea for universities and UNILAG in particular in its role as one of the premier universities in Nigeria to please embrace that cause as well. As you rethink your role going forward, please recognize that without concerted national action on the kinds of human capital that a child born in Nigeria has the opportunity to acquire by the time they reach you, UNILAG's own efforts will only be half effective. So that's my first request, I suppose, as you think about the future, to think about Nigeria's future and the role that you can play in making that strong case for more investment in Nigeria's children, so that by the time they come to you, they're fully prepared to realize and embrace and internalize what you will provide to them. So having said that, let me turn now to what is actually I think the theme of this week and the topic of this morning's event, which is the future of the university, or the university of the future. I think we all recognize how the global environment is changing, and Nigeria has to adapt to that. So there are 4 aspects of where we see that global environment changing, particularly as it applies to institutions of higher education. First, technology, and in particular, digital technologies that have completely changed the framework and the modalities through which universities and other institutions of education can reach students. A good friend of mine, actually a very old friend of mine from college and graduate school, is now the vice provost of Harvard University with one single responsibility. His responsibility is to take all that Harvard has to offer and make it available online, digitally, so that the reach of Harvard's master teachers and professors can extend to as many students around the world as possible. That will become, and has also already become, a critical aspect of how universities operate. And I think Nigeria and UNILAG in particular can do a lot more to make sure that it's prepared for that digital world. Second, and then this goes with the embrace of digital technology in learning, is the fact that the focus has moved. I will not say that it has shifted entirely, but it has moved from a full 3 or 4 year curriculum and an undergraduate specialization in some field to a much more modular approach, specialized functional skills, lifelong learning. So many universities around the world, while the undergraduate education, preparing, providing students with the training they need to have a basic bachelor's degree, that remains important, but it's almost been superseded by a variety of other forms of instruction and education. Mid-career courses, specialized functional courses. We're very happy at the World Bank to be supporting several centers of excellence here in Nigeria through the Universities Commission, NUC, in providing specialized courses on some critical functions, which we think are really important for Nigeria, especially for the Nigerian public sector, which have to do with procurement, which have to do with environmental safeguards, which have to do with social safeguards. And the whole partnership with NUC and these centers of excellence is about offering a range of training and learning opportunities, from 3-month courses to full-year courses, to eventually having it be part of a longer 3 or 4 year or a 2-year master's. So that's the second point: modular courses and lifelong learning. Third, and I think the representative of His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom, referred to this. It's the orientation and towards enabling and really equipping your students towards productive employment. At the end of the day, human capital is a means to realizing economic opportunities and professional and life opportunities. So the role of a university in ensuring that the kind of training that it offers really equips its students, and paying attention to placement rates. How many of your graduates, UNILAG alums, who pervade so many of the elites in Nigeria, but how many of your students today are finding the kinds of professional opportunities that they would hope for, or they had hoped for? I think paying attention to that as a university, as a faculty, as the administration, is critically important. And last but not least, I think we're seeing globally that the whole model of how universities are funded and governed, even those that are essentially public institutions, so whether it is state universities in the United States or the many central government-run universities and institutes in India, which is the country I'm from. The fact that universities are realizing that to rely solely on public funding is leaving them vulnerable to, vagaries of government budgeting processes, but also the overall volumes are reduced. And so more and more universities are being entrepreneurial about looking at alternative sources of funding to supplement, to give them a bit more margin of maneuver and degrees of freedom in expanding the offerings to their students. So these are the 4 areas where the university directly, all of you in the UNILAG community, can directly play a role in determining what kind of university you want to be in the future, so that UNILAG can contribute more directly to Nigeria's future. But let me end here by just again making a plea that while these are things that you can directly influence, please also embrace the larger cause of advocating for investments in Nigeria's children. Because unless Nigeria's children by the time they come to you, have the human capital to succeed and thrive, all of your efforts will have been in vain. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the country director, for that so inspiring talk. And I think it set the stone for what we're going to discuss this afternoon, as well as tomorrow and day after tomorrow. May I recognize the presence of the Deputy Executive Secretary, Administration for the National Investors Commission, Dr. Chris Mayaki. Is online. He's been online since. And I reckon he's going to present the Goodwill Message on behalf of the Executive Secretary of the National Investors Commission. Dr. Mayaki, please.
Can I have the video, or can you unmute me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go on.
Okay. Yes. Okay. The video is still locked, but that's fine. Let me start by recognizing the executive governor of Akwa Ibom State, ably represented by one of our long-standing friends, Professor Ekwem, with whom the NUC worked closely to set up the electronic networking of the Nigerian university system. Please give our warm regards to His Excellency. Let me quickly recognize the country director of the World Bank, who has also turned out to be one of our ardent supporter and our strategic partner, as he alluded to in his speech. And of course, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, who I understand is in transit, and the Deputy Vice Chancellor, my sister, and all the distinguished diplomats and representatives of diplomatic missions, the staff and students of the University of Lagos. Let me, on behalf of the Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid, express our, hearty felicitations over your ability, to mount yet another international week, in spite of the restrictions and the dire consequences imposed by the pandemic. I also do this on behalf of the management and the staff of the National Universities Commission, and by extension, the 201 universities. Nigeria today has 201 universities, and it is on behalf of this very grateful and unique constituency that I speak and bring the warm felicitations of the entire Nigerian university system on this auspicious occasion. Each year, an opportunity like this presents itself for UNILAG to draw attention to some of the issues that are engaging the minds of university leaders, policymakers, and stakeholders alike. Universities, as our dear friend from the World Bank rightly pointed out, universities, and indeed university education is at the heart of what we do. Our life choices, whether as individuals, whether as closely knit families, whether as a community or as a nation or as a globalized system, revolves by and large around the investments that we make in higher education and the exposures that we receive. And so at the National Universities Commission, we have been working very closely with all stakeholders to reposition university education, because as I always take a cue from the immediate past Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the Right Honorable Theresa May. If you all recall, at the twilight of the exit of the United Kingdom from the European Union, the famous Brexit, when everything seemed hopeless, when aspersions were being cast at the United Kingdom as to what doom awaited a nation, at that defining moment, it was Theresa May, who boasted that if every other thing were to be lost, that in the absence of any other thing, the United Kingdom will fall back, will look up to its university system to reinvent the Great Britain. So I just want to underpin the role that universities play, and the universities provide the game-changing opportunities, etc., etc. At the NUC, we have been working closely with the World Bank to create the centers of excellence to cover some needy areas where we hope we'll be able to turn university education into flexibility innovations, to tackle some of those things. We have also been approving additional universities to cater for the huge, to surmount the huge gap between demand and supply. If you recall the statistics, every year there are 2.1 million Nigerian kids wanting to go to the university. The entire 201 universities put together can only cater for 500,000. And so no matter how talented you are, no matter how capable you are financially, you are constrained by the lack of access and equity to have access to university education. We're also looking at internationalization, whereby we hope the Nigerian brand will get visibility, and that universities must benefit from this globalized system. You can't operate in isolation. And we also value the power partnerships. And it is in this context that I want to inform you that we have, we're on the verge of a major curriculum re-engineering exercise, so that we bring our graduates, to at the level where they can compete, favorably with their counterparts around the world. There are many other initiatives that the NUC is, has put in place, including pedagogical skills and capacity building, et cetera, et cetera. And so it is on this note that I'd like to congratulate UNILAG, and on behalf of the Executive Secretary, Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid, your friend, we wish you resounding success, and you continue to be the trailblazer, as far as internationalization is concerned. We note that universities, by definition, must demonstrate those attributes that make them truly universal entities and truly globalized and internationalized entities. So I thank you for the opportunity, and I wish you a very productive and a very fruitful Second International Week. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mayaki. I think most of the participants would like to see your beautiful face. So we are hoping that you are going to share your video while you are talking, but at least before the end of the program, we hope to.
So here am I.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So the Vice Chancellor is right here with us, and he came at the nick of time. So I call on the Vice Chancellor to give, if he wants to, at least to say hello to everyone. You can speak with them. Thank you very much.
Can't hear you. The VC's. Yeah, but I can.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chancellor. I think we had a challenge with the sound. So at least you're still going to talk to them. Thank you so much. And I invite our representatives from different embassies to give their goodwill messages. I'm going to call on the Consul General of the Swiss Embassy, Mr. Thomas Schneider, to please give his goodwill message. Please, you can put on your video so that people can see you. Thank you very much.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? But I cannot switch on the video, unfortunately. But anyway, I start and I wish you all a good morning, Honorable Minister, Honorable Governor, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great privilege and pleasure for me to deliver this goodwill message on the occasion of the University of Lagos International Week 2021. I convey to you the best wishes and congratulations of the Swiss Consulate General in Lagos, as well as the Swiss Embassy in Abuja on this great initiative. What comes to your mind when you think about professional education in the 21st century? What are the needs, the challenges? What is the future of education? I believe that you're going to discuss those issues and how we, the partner countries of Nigeria, can collaborate towards a bright future of our planet. International research collaboration is essential to tackle some of the pressing issues, such as climate change, I believe. So Switzerland, with its unique education system and excellent universities, partners with Nigeria in education, research, and innovation as part of a long-standing bilateral relation between our two countries. This collaboration is spearheaded by the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Lausanne, with its Excellence in Africa initiative, with several collaborations in Nigeria. Furthermore, Switzerland offers the so-called Swiss Government Excellence Scholarships for foreign scholars for postdoctoral research, PhD, and research fellowship. I invite Nigerian scholars to participate and to apply. You can find information about this program through the website of the Swiss Embassy in Abuja. Now, I wish you a successful conference and a happy International Week. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, sir. May I now invite Dr. Muncho, the Consul General of the German Embassy, please.
Yes, good morning. I hope you can hear me. Excellencies, distinguished guests, professores and doctores, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all. In my capacity as the Acting Consul General for Germany in Lagos, I would like to join the fold and present my best wishes to the University of Lagos and its continuing international cooperation around the globe at the occasion of this year's International Week. Germany, primarily through its German Academic Exchange Service, DAAD, remains the largest provider of scholarships worldwide. In this context, we have always had strong linkages with Nigeria in general and with Lagos in particular. In the number of scholarships currently given to students from Sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria holds second place after Kenya with well over 700 recipients out of the roughly 2,000 Nigerian students presently enrolled at German universities. We have particularly close ties with the University of Lagos. Since 2019, the DAAD has established a lectureship there to support the bachelor program German and Integration Studies at the Faculty of Arts and a long-term lectureship for urban planning is in the works at the Center for Housing and Urban Development. Since January of this year, the center hosts the Graduate School Urban Lab, financed by DAAD in cooperation with the Technical University of Berlin and the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa. Last but not least, the Institute of African and Diaspora Studies of the German University, the Institute of African and Diaspora Studies of the University of Lagos forms part of the so-called Cluster of Excellence of the University of Bayreuth in Germany, with a few selected African partner institutions funded by the German Research Society. And finally, I wish to also extend my warm greetings to the sizable number of alumni of the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation among the faculty of UNILAG. Against the backdrop of a continued strong academic cooperation between German university and research organizations with the University of Lagos, as well with our other Nigerian partners in the field, I wish the participants of this year's International Week fruitful deliberation of the chosen theme, Universities of the Future. In the face of the current pandemic, this topic is more pertinent than ever. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Muncho Paul. May I now invite the representative of the Consulate of the U.S. Embassy to make his presentation. Mr. Clemson Ayegusi.
Good morning, all. Can you hear me? Hello? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, clearly. All right. So the Vice Chancellor and host, Professor Ogundipe, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the University Governing Board and Management, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to thank the management of the University of Lagos for inviting the Consul General, Claire Perangelo, to participate in the second University of Lagos International Week. But unfortunately, she's out of the country, but I'm honored to deliver these goodwill remarks in her place. This year's International Week topic of discussion, titled Futures Thinking and Strategic Collaboration, is timely and relevant. I'm happy to learn that majority of the stakeholders in higher education, including policymakers, regulators, have been invited to share useful information, perspectives, and insight on the topic for education administrators to take action. The U.S. mission in Nigeria continues to support an active educational and cultural exchange program that strengthens academic and cultural ties between our two nations. These programs promote teaching, collaborative research, leadership, and human capacity development, and institutional linkages between Nigeria and U.S. academic institutions. The public affairs sections of the U.S. Embassy in Abuja and the U.S. Consulate General in Lagos partners with 33 academic and research institutions in Nigeria through the prestigious Fulbright program. Established in 1946 in the aftermath of World War II, the Fulbright program is dedicated to building relationships and promoting educational exchanges for dynamic and accomplished students, scholars, artists, teachers, and professionals of all backgrounds and nations working together towards common goals. For 75 years, led by the US government in partnership with 165 countries, the Fulbright program is without question a pillar of US public diplomacy in strengthening bilateral relationships and building connections between communities in the United States, Nigeria, and around the world. The Fulbright program and many of the US-funded educational exchange programs are two-way streets. They work in both directions, with our citizens going abroad and citizens of other nations traveling to the US. The Fulbright program awards approximately 8,000 fellowships annually, with 400,000 alumni from 165 countries, including 40 heads of states and government around the world, 60 Nobel Prize winners, 16 who have received the US Presidential Medal of Freedom, and of course, back home in Nigeria, we have Fulbrighters who are vice chancellors, university council members, deans of faculty, and heads of departments. The University of Lagos is a strategic educational partner of the US mission and a top host institution for US scholars and students in Nigeria. The university has hosted about 30 US scholars and students who each have made significant contributions to educational development in Nigeria. 40 scholars and students from the University of Lagos have benefited from the fully funded Fulbright programs and study of the US Institute, representing over $1.2 million in US government investment. These beneficiaries were selected for their academic merits and leadership potential. Through the Fulbright program, they have studied, thought, and conducted research in US universities and colleges. Some of these scholars have built connections between the University of Lagos and their US host institutions, expanding and strengthening the diversity of our educational institutions. They have developed professional relationships, long life friendships, and became members of an international community of scholars who collaborate on projects and research. The cultural, educational, and professional ties between our two countries are very, very strong. As the premier higher education destination for international students, Nigeria has the highest number of African students in the United States. Almost 14,000 Nigerians currently study at more than 1,000 US universities and colleges. And through the Education USA Opportunity Funds program, some of these students have over $5 million in scholarships at some of these competitive colleges and universities. The outbreak of COVID-19 presents a global health crisis and a major disruption to many of our responsibility, routines, and service delivery. In addition to the health impact, there is also significant economic and educational impact of COVID-19 that will remain with us for a long time. Research shows that many schools have responded to the pandemic through acquisition of digital technologies and training of teachers to use technology for academic activities. These schools transition to online learning that lead to surge in the use of video conferencing platforms and learning management systems. On the other hand, some schools in developing countries and world's most vulnerable communities are not able to access quality education and online learning opportunities. The pandemic has extremely affected these students and their educators. In most African countries, education is adversely affected by limited or misdirected funds, lack of adequate teachers, inadequate classrooms, and learning materials. The situation may get worse after the pandemic if governments at all levels do not move quickly to counter them. According to UNICEF, Nigeria still has 10.5 million out of school children, the world's highest number. This represents approximately 20% of global population of these marginalized groups. The United States government believes that access to quality education, which is one of our mission's goals, is the key to Nigeria's future. Educated children will grow into educated members of the society, and they will play positive roles in the education, social, political, and economic sectors of the country. Therefore, the drive for better education has to start now. Times like this call for a collective response from individuals, from governments, and the private sector. Each of us must do our part to salvage the education system in Nigeria. There is much that can be done to promote the education systems and meet the incredibly high level of needs presented by educators and students at this time. You must ask yourself, do I like what I see in my country? If not, then why not? What do I need to change? And how do I go about being a change agent for a better Nigeria? It is for you to choose, act, and decide to improve your education systems, your economy, your healthcare services, and your democracy. The U.S. mission in Nigeria will continue to collaborate with academic, research, and cultural institutions to promote education and greater cultural ties by strengthening people-to-people partnership and create economic opportunities for Nigerian youth and graduates. We believe that universities play important and strategic roles in fostering national and regional development, advancing science and technological innovations, and solving global problems in education, healthcare, entrepreneurship, security, and the environment. Therefore, in the first quarter of 2022, the U.S. Consulate in Lagos will organize a two-day hybrid capacity building conference for Nigerian university administrators and delegates from the National University Commission to facilitate university partnership between the U.S. and Nigerian universities. The conference will be led by expert U.S. speakers in international education and will promote long-term institutional partnership. And we are going to be exploring joint degree programs between the U.S. and Nigeria universities and also share best practices. We look forward to reaching out to you all to be part of this conference. Best wishes to all of you for meaningful discussion and positive action. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clemson, for that goodwill message. And we're going to take up the challenge that you have thrown to us. Okay, may I now call Mr. Sebastian Bade, the higher education advisor for the French embassy, to make his goodwill message.
Good morning. Good morning, all. Dear Vice Chancellor, Professor Ogundipe, dear Deputy Vice Chancellor, can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay, okay. Good morning, good morning. Dear Vice Chancellor, Professor Ogundipe, dear Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Familoni, dear Deputy Executive Secretary, Dr. Ramon Yusuf, and representative of the National University Commission, distinguished ambassadors, council, and diplomats, dear professors, dear colleagues and friends, good morning. The newly appointed French ambassador, Madame Emmanuelle Blattman, regrets that she can't attend the opening ceremony of the second International Week as she arrives this week in Abuja, but I'm sure she will visit the University of Lagos very soon. I feel honored to be invited to give a goodwill message, and I'd like to seize this opportunity to thank the University of Lagos. I believe that through this International Week, University of Lagos offer a chance to think and discuss the university of the future and the future of our universities. We all know too well the challenges that higher education in Nigeria, in Africa, but also in the world face, and we already we mentioned a lot of them. And more than ever, because also of the recent difficulties due to the pandemics, this future partly depends on international cooperation and digital education. And this international conference, I'm sure, offers a great opportunity to find solutions. I know that all of you are deeply committed to meet these challenges. The French Embassy, the French General Consulate, and Campus France stand by your side as a partner and work on collaborative solutions with the National University Commissions, TEDFund, the states, and universities. We work together on scholarship programs, training programs, for instance, and we also, with Campus France, will organize a study tour online December the 4th. What will be the universities of the future? Thinking about how to answer this question and meet these challenges, it reminds me a quote from Marvin Garvey, which is written at the entrance of the Natural History Museum of the University of Lagos. And it says, "The people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." Therefore, thinking about university of the future, it's also assessing what we can offer based on our past history, origin, and culture to share our diversity to neighbors, partners, and friends. And this diversity is a treasure we must protect and share. I know that University of Lagos and its Department of European Languages and Integration Studies intend to offer a wide range of international opportunities to its students, and friends intend to welcome more Nigerian students and strengthen the ties between our universities and research centers. We may this year set a new record of Nigerian students applying to study in France. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on French Ambassador Blattman's behalf, I wish you fruitful debates and ideas exchanges during the 3 coming days, and I'm fully convinced that this event will be a great success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sebastian. We'll go back again to the NUC, and I think we have to appreciate NUC at this moment because they started the Goodwill Messages, and the last Goodwill Message we are going to be having is also from NUC. We have Dr. Sulaiman Rahman Yusuf, the Deputy Executive Secretary in charge of academics. Is going to actually deliver the Goodwill Message from the Executive Secretary. So, Dr. Yusuf, please.
Yeah, good morning. The Vice Chancellor, University of Lagos, the representative of the State Governor of Akwa Ibom State. I will just join my colleague, Mr. Chris Miyaki, who had given a very solid message on behalf of the National Universities Commission. Of course, the ES would have loved to be here. That's Professor Abaka Damu Rashid. But we are very happy that we are in a position to join this very important ceremony and to congratulate the University of Lagos for consistently shining the light on a critical element of the universality of connection with all institutions across the world. Universities resonates with us at the National Universities Commission. It is quite exciting because the COVID-19 lot to draw attention to the need, particularly the need to integrate technology into teaching and learning. And of course, the issue of partnerships and collaboration has always been critical to us at NUC. But an important point to make at this juncture is the theme of this year's International Week, thinking about the future of universities. It is important to ask some pertinent questions. While we are doing this, it is our expectation that we are very conscious of the necessary link between the future Yeah, so sorry, I think there was some network issue. So just to summarize, that we need to explore the instrumentality of partnerships and collaboration to create awareness and build capacity amongst academic staff to be aware of the future of work. What
So maybe if you turn off your video a bit and then start again. Maybe turn off the video. Dr. Yusuf, if you turn off the video, perhaps it might be better. The connectivity might be better. Okay, while we're waiting for him, okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for these glitches. Now, so just to summarize, we should draw from the instrumentality of collaboration and partnerships to build capacities and competencies, enhance pedagogical skills of our academics, especially, so as to be able to adequately prepare, drawing from the synergies with our various partners across the world, to be able to prepare our graduates with the requisite skills to confront the challenges of the future, and then to imbue them with the necessary skills required in the future of work. On this note, we would like to wish all participants a very successful deliberation as we attempt to achieve strengthened internationalization of the University of Lagos and other universities in Nigeria in terms of North-South collaboration and South-South collaborations. We thank you very much. Have a pleasant week.
Thank you so much, sir, for making that time out. You know, the time is of essence for you, and you have a lot of other competing demands on your time. Thank you so much. The last time the Vice Chancellor tried to talk to us, we had a bit of connectivity issue, and a lot of people could not hear him speak. So may I invite the Vice Chancellor now to come and make his remark.
Good morning, my dear colleagues and friends. The Deputy Vice Chancellors and the management team here, the excellencies who are connected with us, the chairman of this special occasion, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, who is also an alumnus of the University of Lagos. We want to thank the SSG for finding time to attend this program again. 2 years ago, like he said, when he presented, he was here at Aderoku Hall. And this year again, he made up his mind that he's going to attend. We appreciate you for coming, sir. I want to also recognize the Honorable Minister of Education, Alhaji Adamu Adamu, who is interested in this program. The ESNUC will have loved to be here, as stated by the Deputy ES. We were together yesterday, but is fully engaged concerning some other activities. That was why he put forward the 2 Deputy ES, and you can see from their presentation that they are part of us, and they are going to give their own talk later. What we are doing today is not to celebrate University of Lagos as the university of first choice and the nation's pride. But we are saying that it's from the university that the light will transmit to outside the university, in the country, in the community. We are saying that from University of Lagos, we want to look into the future as we pride ourselves as the university of first choice and the nation's pride. We look into the future. This we are able to do. We look at the presentation by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development Services on behalf of the VC, see some of the achievements that this university is being able to bring to the fore. We did online exam for the UTME students with protoring, and we invited pressmen to come and look at what we did. And also the registrar of JAMB, Professor Loide, came and they saw what we are able to do. through the post-UTME exam. Over 22,000 students came on board. We also have the virtual lectures with the quality assurance in place. The quality assurance and Servicon units were on ground to monitor the lecturing and also to caution some of the lecturers so that they can do better. Also, our year 1, year 2 students had their exams online, and the university paid 18 million naira to get data for the year 1, year 2 students, so that they will not say that they don't have data to do the exam virtual. For the year 3, year 4, 5, they came to campus, and thereafter we decided that any large class, because of obedience to the COVID-19 protocol, lectures will be virtual and it will be blended. Let me put it that it will be blended, and the classes we have them in groups, and the lecturers can interface with them. Where we have laboratory, we have full laboratory implemented, but also in groups. So we are talking about the future. If you look at the direction education is going globally now, the direction is that what we thought was impossible in the past is possible now. How many people will say that you can give lecture online and people will listen to it? Look at the meeting we are having now. It's being viewed all over the world. I'm happy to announce that even the Vice Chancellor of Borno State University is connected online. The former VC of FUTA, who is in Johannesburg, is connected online. So many people are connected to this particular program. But we who are here physically, we are in this small room. And so many people are connected online. If you look at the number we have there, I think it's about, say, 99 plus, 162 people connected online. That is through Zoom. And you have another through the YouTube. So you can see that the future is such that the information can be transmitted through contact, that is one-to-one contact, and also virtual. So it means that Distant Learning Institute, distant learning, open distant learning education have come to stay, whether we like it or not. And you know that in the United States now, you can have your lectures through the open distant learning and through contact. You can put the two together and you'll be able to graduate even earlier than expected. That is the university of the future. And also, if you listen to the country representative of the World Bank talking about combined degrees, in the past, who will accept that? But that is the direction the world is going now. We have started that. We have started discussing with some universities outside the country so that we can have double degrees. We already have with one university in France. We need to activate that for a PhD program. So that is the university of the future in the area of networking, in the area of research collaboration. Instead of thinking of going to the US now, you can have your lecture online, give your lecture online. Instead of coming to stay in the University of Lagos Scholar Suite, just give your lecture, do your collaboration online. That is the university of the future. I want to thank the ESNUC again for giving us all the necessary support and for encouraging us every time. So on behalf of the University of Lagos, we want to say, surely, University of Lagos is part of the University of the future that will bring more glory to this country. If you look at our ranking now, between 501 and 600. And 10 years or 11 years ago, when the Vice Chancellor then, Professor Adetokunbo Shofolue, FAI, said, very soon, University of Lagos will be one of the best 10 in Africa and one of the best 1,000 in the world. To me, I was the dean of PG school. I said, can this be possible? Looking at the factors around us. But today, we make bold to say that University of Lagos is one of the best 10 in Africa and now one of the best 600 in the world. So we want to encourage our collaborators at the global level and the local level that we are ready to collaborate with them. We are going to collaborate with Akwa Ibom State University. We have started discussing with them. We have collaboration MOU with Borno State University. So instead of only looking outside, we want to look inward and see how we can collaborate with our universities in Nigeria. And I want to thank the German Embassy again for the DAD, for the German language program that we have started. We want to let you know, sir, that it's a very good one. And we are bringing in more countries to come and collaborate with us. In our area of entrepreneurship, we are having agreement with Akwa Ibom State University also, so that to help our youth. If you remember the presentation by the country director, we need to do something about our youth. Our Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center is doing very well in that area. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to assure you that everything presented, all the papers presented, we'll make sure that we'll put everything together. We'll send it to all the people who are interested and all the stakeholders in education, locally and globally. Thank you very much. God bless us all.
Came online. So, and that's Professor Kiari Sandabe. So we are going to invite him to just give just a short remark. The Vice Chancellor of Borno State University, Professor Kiari Sandabe, please. Please, can you unmute yourself, sir? So I can, then you can speak.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm delighted to be part of the attendees. This is as a Borno State University, this is the first time I'm attending this meeting. And, you know, as the Vice Chancellor said, now everything is globalized. For one to stay and isolated to himself is no longer the fashion. We are also trying to see that we are incorporated into whatever that is happening globally. We are very delighted to be part of the University of Lagos International Conference. I wish the participants and everybody that is present to, you know, contribute his own quota. And we in Borno State, I think we are going to benefit more from what the University of Lagos is doing. So therefore, I thank the Vice Chancellor for giving us the privilege and opportunity to be part of the conference. I was informed much earlier about this, and we are happy that we are in the process of even signing a memorandum of understanding with the University of Lagos to see how we can collaborate and then be part of these global activities. Now, if you see these days, it is, you know, we are fast tracking all those challenges the University of Lagos had faced earlier by keying into the experience of the university. So we are much grateful. I welcome the participants, and then I wish everyone a happy deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor. So may I invite the chairman to come and give his closing remarks?
Yeah, thank you, Prof. The Vice Chancellor, the Deputy Vice Chancellors, participants in this event that are located globally, ladies and gentlemen. The theme is very interesting, and that is universities of the future. And the question is, from all that we've listened to, and we're talking about the future, then we are saying universities of the future. So it means that we are looking at the universities as they are today. And therefore, we are defining what they should be in the future. And therefore, when you look at those ones that are already universities today, like our great ACOCA, what will it be? So in other words, universities as they are today, they are proactively looking at the future and making sure they prepare for the future. That means that universities have been redefined. We are redefining universities. Another way of putting it is this: those universities that will come into being, in other words, they'll be started afresh as new universities. So it means they're going to meet the definition of universities the way we conceived the university today, that university should be. Before now, we saw and we regard universities as centers of ideas and knowledge creation and centers of ideas and knowledge transmission. We imparted. I think that the next phase, as part of an indispensable component of university, has to be knowledge application and knowledge utilization via entrepreneurship. In fact, Prof, when this was on, I was beginning to ask myself that maybe for faculties of engineering, faculties of science, faculties of agriculture, and those very relevant faculties, it's not going to be right, wouldn't it be right to have, is it a semester or be done concurrently with existing courses in a 5-year program to have an entrepreneurship component? In other words, not just knowledge creation, like you do in original research. Professors are here, and you do a lot of research work. You as professors, senior lecturers, that's why I like your anthem, defending and protecting your heritage as a ACOCA. So now the question is, you create and impart, you create and transmit. Then when students leave universities and they graduate, you expect them to utilize and apply knowledge. That's what we expect. I think that future universities would also include inculcating in them, while they are in the universities, the ability to create wealth, to create jobs. It's what we say in ICT, like the guy from NGC was referring to. We say plug and play graduates. A plug and play graduate is someone who, because of the kind of training he or she received in ACOCA, and he graduates and goes to the workplace, he works, and you make good use of him. He's already a plug and play, he's already working, he's very productive. So you graduate to create jobs, or you graduate to go and fit into an existing job and play. So that is a plug and play graduate, so in existing workplace, or he or she goes to create jobs. When I was graduating from IFE Prof, it was one thing the Vice Chancellor said, and I can't forget it. He said, my dear young men and women, behold, I send you forth to go, not only to go and get jobs, but to go and create jobs. This is what the Vice Chancellor said, and I would never forget it. Professor Cyril Agodi Oumechili. I can't forget him. That's what he said the day we were graduating, and it has been with me from then until today. So this is how we should look at universities of the future. So those are early universities like Great Akoka. How I would say reinvent, you know what I would say, enlarge your capacity, expand your coast, and get these people prepared so that when they graduate, they will become plug and play in existing workplaces and create jobs. Prof, one thing that also struck us as we're going through is listening to all the presentations from the US Embassy, the German Embassy, the French Embassy, the gentleman from the NUC. I started asking myself, why a subject like this, as so relevant as it is, why wouldn't it have been done by NUC? You know what? NUC would have been actively involved in this event. I mean in UNILAG, but a national event. Prof, I'm really touched by the substance and the relevance of this event. It could be a whole national event. And it says, the gentleman says, 201 universities. Imagine there's a certain lecture hall as you're going towards the main gate on the left, either within the education faculty, something like that, big one like that. And you can host this kind of event, supported even by World Bank, UNESCO, and the federal government, NUC, MBTE, the national, they should be involved. Because we are talking about these young men and women, call them NSAS, whatever you want to call them. They are reacting to the situation. It's a fact. They are reacting. This is what we say in the Catholic Church without apologies, but to my non-Catholics, we say juvenile delinquency was created by adult delinquency. You know, so we adults cause this situation. We cause this situation. They are a product. But if we to act fast and help them, this is a time bomb. Youth unemployment, youth rest of this country is a time bomb unless we as a nation address it. And what UNILAG is doing today is contributing to addressing that problem, unless you don't see the depth of what is happening today. So this should be proved in subsequent years, a national event. Piloted by UNILAG, you have the experience, you've been starting it, and you have big spaces here, big auditoria here, that this kind of events can take place. Lastly, Prof, listening to all those presentations, when these young men and women in the relevant faculties are in their final year, and as I said before, either an extra semester or part of the curriculum, that we incubate them. You know what? Small businesses are packaged, and the university is concerned, help them to package those businesses. And so they become incubatees on campus. So when they are incubatees on campus and they leave campus after graduation, they're already going to go and create jobs, own small companies. Because until we do that, when we have an avalanche of young men and women who are creating jobs, what is staring us in the face will be frightening. Prof, let me commend UNILAG for this event. I really mean it. And then the challenges that where's the MC? The challenges that we were having, yes, and this is my profession, you know, my occupation rather. You're having capacity with respect to broadband. You have a lot of congestion. You can see 100 and something. And then amount of bandwidth that is available here. I hope that in the not too distant future, Great Akoka, we're going to have a broadband fiber with a full maybe 1 terabit per second or 50 megabit per second. So that will be plug and play. So wherever you are in the world, you are part of this event. Because once you do that, World Bank says 10% increase in broadband penetration translate into about 1.5% increase in GDP. And that's why in Akwa we say your alumnus, you know, the governor will say now as we're building the smart Akwa Ibom state, we talk about productivity in ubiquity. In other words, wherever you are, because you have a broadband access, you are productive. At home, in your school, you at your workplaces, you are traveling. Look, Prof was on the road here. He was just landing Lagos Airport from Abuja. And it was on that he was part of this event. That's productivity in ubiquity, productivity in motion. So with those few words of as closing remarks, I wish the Vice Chancellor, members of the academic staff, this great institution, all the best in this event, and that I plead in the subsequent years, enlarge your course, embrace the entire country, set the pace, and others will follow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir, the Chairman, for that inspiring words of encouragement. So may I invite the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Government Services to say some few words before we wrap it up.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for that very profound closing remark, which clearly shows that you were not just here representing because you were given a task. You really have been involved because you have also not just demonstrated that you followed, but you have even contributed to the discourse, the direction in which we should be thinking and going. And I'm very pleased to tell you, sir, that in the University of Lagos, we had actually anticipated some of the things that you have suggested. Sometime last year, the Senate of the university approved the entrepreneurship curriculum leading towards the award of a certificate. So from the students who come in this year, who will be resuming in November, they will be graduating, they will have to take a mandatory module of entrepreneurship. We have always done entrepreneurship, but we did it very theoretically. We did it, but this is going to be hands-on. We have an entrepreneurship and skills development center, and we are very committed to business incubation for our students, so that the university has pledged and has pledged to register businesses for students and even staff, and we have been doing. And we also take up the responsibility of patenting innovations, and we have been doing. So yes, we are already doing, and to tell you how deeply committed we are to that, we are in partnership. We have been able to sell the idea and got support from the Bank of Industry, which has provided a 250 million facility that is available for students of University of Lagos and recent graduates of the university who have business ideas and need to grow their businesses, to tap into, to access the credit up to a maximum of 2 million for every business. We are working out the details in terms of like security and how to ensure that the businesses first of all grow, and also that those who access the funds are committed, to. So we're working on that. We're hoping that with our successes in that, we will model the alternative possibilities to other Nigerian institutions and even abroad. I need to also mention that one of the highlights of the ESDC, that's the Entrepreneurship and Skills Development Center for 2021, is the BITE competition. The BITE competition is the business innovation and technology enterprise competition. So students, we invited all the students of University of Lagos to apply, to pitch their businesses and their ideas for a winning that is supposed to help capitalize or expand the credit base of their businesses. We got 359 applications. What is interesting is every faculty was represented, including the clinical sciences, and we had students, undergraduates, we had postgraduates, we had, I think, 2 applicants from the PhD program, and we also have our part-time students join in applying. So the elimination rounds are currently taking place, and at the end of this month, we will have the finals. And of course, we have the buy-in of one of our friends, the friends of the university, who has given 4 million, which is supposed to be the prize winning, 2 million for the first prize and 1.5 million for the second and 750 million for the third. So we hope that as those things are pitched, our students actually see that the university truly is committed to helping them grow their business ideas and taking things forward. We will do more of that, and we will get ideas from our participants. Yes, and also, you know, because we want to ensure that none of our students are left behind. So because we recognize that entering into this space requires a bit of leveraging. For many of it is not, we've talked about the number of out of school children. We also know that we have poverty that is really endemic. We have over 65% of the population of Nigeria living below poverty line. And that means some of our students are from these families. Because of that, the University of Lagos actually has an indigent student fund. We encourage people to give and support students through the year. So when they give, we're able to give the students who are beneficiaries money to pay their fees and some stipend for every month. And during the last convocation, we were able to convince one of our honorary degree awardees, we gave the honorary degree awardee is also giving us some money for expanding, you know, the access to internet within the University of Lagos campus. But we got one of the friends of the university, Dr. Jim Ovia, donate 3,000 tablets to the University of Lagos, which we will, from the beginning of the new session in November, avail to indigent students so that the circumstances, their home circumstances do not disadvantage them from participating effectively in the traditional curriculum and then in the emerging curriculum, which will necessarily rely on internet technology support. So those are some of the things that we are doing to ensure that our students actually are able to engage and to optimize learning opportunities that are emerging. So as we go on, I just want to acquaint our audience, our participants here present, as well as our participants online. We still have about 160 people online, and we are very encouraged by that number. We hope that we will be able to keep the momentum. Like I said during the speech I delivered on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, we will be here for over the next 3 days. We have a session starting this afternoon, and our theme for that session, the sub-theme for that session is thinking and strategic collaboration. Thinking and strategic collaboration. I can imagine that every session of this 1 week of this International Week promises. I know it takes a lot for us to be able to be part of it, but I can tell you that if you're part of it fully, you will have no regrets whatsoever. We will be having the Managing Director of Sub-Saharan BML. We will be having the Pro-Vice Chancellor of Derby Business School, and we'll be having the founder and chief executive of Learning Possibilities in the UK joining us. We have our friends from JAAD, that's the German Educational Corporation, and we have other friends joining us during that session. It will be chaired by Professor Folashade Ogunshola, sorry. Ogunshola, the former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development Services. And tomorrow we will be here again at 10 a.m. We will be looking at future collaborative programs that can service the fourth industrial revolution, universities of the future, collaborative programs. Of course, the NUC talked about, you know, internationalization, joint degrees, like the Vice Chancellor said. Who would have thought of that in the past? But even the NUC is telling us, go for it, go for it. So we're looking at joint degrees, we're looking at campuses and all of those things. So we want to invite everybody to fully participate with us. The keynote will be delivered by the Vice Chancellor of Stellenbosch University. We'll have a parallel session in that morning period, because we will also have study at home abroad. And abroad, we will have that session. It will be parallel. And because we know that universities of the future will need to be supported by dynamic and responsive administration. It will not be administration as we've always known it. So we're also having a session on whether university administration for universities of the future. What kind of administration we will have in the in the afternoon session, where we will have the first part of that session will be university administrators at the level of policy making. So we will have the AAU, we will have the NUC, we will have the Association of Registrars of Universities in Nigeria. And then we will have a panel discussion that will then bring home, and then the heads of the various units of administration within the university will begin to talk about their vision and how it is that they think that they will need to adapt, and so that they can deliver on the mandate. And on day 3, which will be the last day of this 2020 International Week, we are also going to look at innovative collaboration. So we're going to look at current collaborations, the forms that they're taking, the lessons that we can draw out from them, and we begin to shape the future therefore. So we welcome you to join us in all the sessions that are to come. We will be putting up after this session the agenda for the next 3 days, and those who are online can look. We will also be sharing for those who have registered. We will also be sharing so that you know what the agenda really is like. And it will also be on the university website, just in case you miss out on those, and you can just check. So thank you very much for coming, Your Excellency. We are deeply grateful for the representatives of the NUC online. We are deeply appreciative to all our colleagues online, friends of the university, members of the higher education community in Nigeria and beyond who are joining us online. We say a very, very big thank you and welcome to the University of Lagos 2020 International Week.
Thank you very much. Okay, while you were speaking, there was a request from NUC. Appreciated the contribution by the chairman of the occasion, and they want to make some clarifications regarding internationalization policy. So may I call on Dr. Chris Mayaki to please come in to make the clarification.
Thank you very much. A very quick one, just to appreciate our dear friend, Professor Ekwem, again for his sustained interest in the NUC to act as a catalyst on a national scale. To say that what we are seeing in UNILAG actually is a byproduct of a major retreat that the NUC convened 2 years ago for directors of internationalization and partnerships. And that retreat, charged universities to fully commit themselves to the ideals of internationalization, wherein we also requested them to do some cascading, to replicate the things that we do at the national level, because internationalization is a concentric cycle. Whereas there's an international platform, we urge universities to also retire back to their campuses, and then at the end of the day, we will harness all the best practices. But we are very actively committed to this. We have urged universities to establish divisions of internationalization in their respective institutions. And this is to deepen the culture and the practice. And of course, we also have a converging point where we harness at the national level. All the good things you've heard from all the embassies, they work with the NUC, the AU, the UNESCO, all the quality assurance agencies, etc., etc. So I thought I should, make an additional clarification that we're very much involved with this at the national level, and there's a promising opportunity that we'll have yet another colloquium on internationalization on a national scale. I thank you once again for the opportunity to clarify this position. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. The Deputy Vice Chancellor of Women Services has already expressed gratitude and vote of thanks to everyone present. We have a lot of people present online, and the Pro-Chancellor of the university, Senator Teju, that actually joined in. We would like to thank you, sir. And we have a number of people who are also present right here. We have the members of management. We really appreciate your presence. We have the director of IADS, Institute of African Diaspora Studies, Professor Falaye. Thank you so much. We have the DAD representative here. He's been here since morning. Thank you so much. We are looking forward to your session in the afternoon. We have most all the deans of the university, they are all present online. We thank all of you so much, and all the members of staff, as well as students, we thank you so much. Most importantly, this is my constituency. We would like to thank and appreciate the members of the fourth, the journalists. We have a lot of them here, AIT, some join online, and some are here physically present. We thank you so much for your assistance and support all this while. So we have just a very short, by 2 o'clock, we are going to the next session, so we can just bring this to an end. And we're going to end it the way we, by first standing up for protocol, as well as the country's anthem. Please, let's stand up.